No, listen, Joel, I'm expecting a banger.
Oh, I know you are.
I got good feedback. That's very nice. I got feedback on the podcast that you did without me, Joel.
Oh, really? What did they say? It was too.
Up the spice a little bit because I wasn't around.
Oh, that's true.
That's good. Anyway,
everyone had a solid haircut and no crazy talk.
No crazy talk. It is Practical Shooting After Dark. We're here to talk about shooting. On deck tonight, Mr. Joel Park.
Hello.
Mr. Hwansha Kim.
Hello.
So the Korean brothers are here. And we have someone new, Mr. Josh Mate.
Good day.
Good day to you, sir.
You do an introduction for Josh?
You would probably be best for that, I think, Ben.
Well, Josh, you're one of the best shooters in Alberta.
Yeah, we could go with that.
You're an Alberta GM, right?
Yeah, a 3-division Alberta GM.
Well, that is a very prestigious title, sir.
It's something, right?
I only have one GM card, so that means Josh is 3 times as good as I am.
I've been trying to give Joel a couple of my GM cards.
Maybe I'll take him. All right, so I think talking. Well, what do we have to talk about today? You had the Cornhusker.
We did.
Should be fun to talk about. And is there any more board drama to talk about?
I don't know. Not that I'm aware of.
I feel like everything was covered without me, right?
I think so. We're up to speed. Thank you for your service.
That's
Time
very
to move
sad.
on.
Very sad indeed.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know that it is, but okay.
Well, fire away. Tell us about the Cornhusker, Joel.
All right. Well, we had the Cornhusker Classic sponsored by, the main title sponsor was the Pro Shop. So Tim very generously sent us a bunch of loot.
Pro Shop Tim?
Pro Shop Tim, yes. As well as Hunters HD Gold and CZ USA gave us a pistol cert. So that was cool. So anyway, it was a 10-stage match at my club in Omaha. The homeboys here came to shoot. Josh drove all the way from Canada because he heard how good the match was.
Yeah, I drove. It took about 30 hours.
Oh, that's so far.
He was pretty much demolished when he showed up at my house on, was it Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, like Saturday at 11.
And he's like, I could probably go to sleep now. He's like, I don't know if I should go to sleep this early. And I was like, well, we can go get you lunch, and then maybe you could fall asleep afterwards.
Yeah, and then I just decided to stay up. There was a 2-hour nap in that 30 hours.
That's like, the type of craziness that I do. So that's very impressive.
I just wanted to be like you.
It is. No, so it was a 10-stage level 2 match at my club. Guys, what else there's to talk about, I guess?
Well, you can tell us about the stages.
What would you guys say about the stages?
For the most part, they were quite good.
It looked like very fast, just from the footage, but it looked fast with a lot of positioning stuff.
Yes.
I would agree.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
There was one stage that was, being honest, somewhat stupid that probably shouldn't have made it in the match that had it was worth too many points and it was dumb and not low cap friendly. But for the most part, the stages I think were pretty good. Quite a few options. Well, the way I developed, and I'm already going to catch, I'm sure, hate mail for even saying that much. But anyway, I think the way I measure anymore a stage being good or not is if we all stand around and have conversation about like, well, I want to go left first. And Kim's like, no, I think I'm going to go right. I'm like, well, I'm going to keep moving through here. He's like, oh, I'm going to go this way altogether. That's kind of like the way I judge anymore if a stage is interesting, is based on the conversation we have.
Yeah. And one thing I liked about that options of plans, though, it wasn't like a stage where you have to stay 15 minutes to figure out where the targets are. It wasn't like nothing like that. And also options-wise, there were maybe like 2 or 3 options that are valid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some matches you go, like there's like 5, 6 different options you can go. But this one was straightforward enough to like think about 2 options most of the time, and then just pick and choose which direction you want to move first, kind of thing, your preference.
Yeah.
And there were good enough challenge for sure. Especially tight corners, low port. There were 2 low ports that you don't necessarily have to go full prone, which I really liked. And you can, that was a stage where you can either start on the low port or end on the low port. Maybe minimal difference. So that was something I really liked because I have a back issue, so I don't want to get back up on the low port. So I finished on it. But some people shot low port right off the draw, and the time difference between their time and my time wasn't a whole lot of difference.
Yeah. It just boiled down to execution, honestly.
Yeah.
Josh, what do you have to say, sir?
Yeah. Execution for the most part. I think we only saw like maybe 2 different styles on each stage, depending on the shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the aforementioned silly stage, where you basically everybody had to shoot it the same way.
Wait, hey, what was so silly about this stage?
Well, there was basically only 3 positions to shoot from. And the play with low cap was either you do a standing load or you like kind of back out on some targets. You had to, like, I had to mix it up stupid just to not do standing loads.
And I mean, but backing is, so how many shots was it per position?
I could have easily done 14, I think, on each
13,
end.
Yeah,
14.
easy.
13, 14, like on each end. Imagine this thing.
Because if you do a reload as you stand there and then as you slowly back up and start to shoot, that's still a standing reload.
Absolutely.
Like you're reloading standing there looking at targets, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
roughly 14 shots on each end. It was the shape. The stage was like, imagine a fault line across the back, and the targets were in kind of a V shape, I suppose.
Yeah, going outwards from the center.
these stages are boring for high cap and annoying for low cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the play was just don't run out of ammo. Like try to go 1 for 1 on the steal and just like it's in the problem. Well, I'm like probably going to catch hate for talking this much, but it was weighted too heavily as the other problem.
Draw some hate, Joel. It's good for you.
Well, it's like it. So in my opinion, that stage was worth a lot more points than some of the other ones. And people that had failures had colossal failures that if you were in the running to win anything, like you definitely weren't after that stage.
Okay.
A lot of the issues with that too was the steel falling super slow and piled up on top of each other.
They're all forward falling, mostly forward falling poppers.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. That is good.
Wait till you see the footage. You'll love it.
Okay. Well, this sounds like a fairly uneventful match.
Other than that, I mean, it's never perfect, of course. The magic's always in the setup, so I mean, stuff happens. Otherwise, there was no real ways to break the stages. The professor and I walked the stages on Friday and hung up like the banners for the vendors and stuff. There was nothing really like I said, that stage was a little dumb. There's nothing really broken where it was like, hey, did you guys know you could, stand this spot and shoot, or break the stage, so to speak. So
to me, this match, I think as a level 2, it was pretty high quality. And one thing I really found out, it's a challenging match, but not a punishing match, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so,
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, punishing match in a way is like, even if you take some time to aim and you're not guaranteed to hit, that's a punishing stuff. But if you actually, like, hey, instead of shooting on the move over here, if you actually just stand up and shoot, you probably gonna get safe run over there. That's in a way you can make a challenge and risk a little bit, or you just decide to play super safe. That's in a way, like, there's an opportunity to challenge yourself rather than no matter who you are, you're going to get punished. Like, for example, the previous level 2 match I shot, they had like 15-yard no-shoot stack with weekend only. No matter what, at 15-yard no-shoot, like a third IPSC target, it's not guaranteed to hit. In a way, that's a punishing shot and punishing match, but this match didn't really have a punishing stuff, except of course if you had like back issue like somebody and go low port, that could be
the infamous low ports.
Yeah. Well, like maybe a different way of saying it is if you were C class, you could make every shot in the match and you're not going to get a penalty.
Yes, I agree.
As long as you took your time. And obviously if you try to go fast, you start pushing on the gun, or you decide to move your feet, or like dynamic shooting, there's a possibility for disaster. Yeah. But if you have C-class ability and you stand there and just shoot carefully, none of the shots are ridiculous or stupid that you can't
Yeah.
You can't hit everything.
And most of the tougher shots were not no shoot, but they're either hardcover or wall next to it, so it's a 3D partial. So in a way, if you can make up the shot without actually getting penalty.
Yeah, more people had trouble with walls
Yeah.
than I think anything else in that match.
Mhm.
Yeah. So overall, it rewarded dynamic shooting. I think it was good.
Mhm.
So, better than last year?
Yes. Last year, because we went there to give them feedback, and I happened to find out there's like one spot that you don't have to move at all and shoot all the 24 rounds or something like
We
that.
got that fixed. So other than that, after we got the stages fixed, what do you think of the match last year to this year?
I would say there were definitely some similar flavor in terms of how like the partial distance, open targets number. But this year, for sure, they had more perfect positioning challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was different than last year's match. Oh, I think it was good. I enjoyed it. And like, obviously, I'm being nitpicky because it's my club, and I think it could always be better. And of course, I'll provide more feedback to them, like privately, if they want to hear it. But like overall, it was good. I obviously I recommend like my friends to come to this match because it's at my club, and I don't feel guilty or embarrassed asking people to come to the match. So that's important, I guess.
Yes, that's very important.
Well, like real talk. If I tell people to come to this and it's dumb, then I'm not going to be super happy about that.
That's happened to me a few times where I talk people into coming to matches that turn out to be bad.
That would not be a good thing. One other, I guess, while we're talking about the Cornhusker, a bit of a show and tell. We did the same thing we did last year, which are these airsoft poppers. So they're Tac Trainers is the name of the company. For the audio listeners, I'm just holding up. It looks like a USPSA standard popper. It's lighter construction, so it's made for airsoft. It can actually be calibrated. It's got like a little bolt in the front, so you can actually calibrate it to fall down. And then one of the homeboys at my club with a cricket made like little vinyl labels for him for the different positions or the different awards. And so that's what we handed out this year. So anyway, tactrainers.com is a website, and it was cool for something different other than just the tumblers or the plaques that everyone has a bookshelf already full of.
I have a couple of those from your club, actually.
You do?
Cool. Yeah, I like them a lot. I think they're very nice.
It's fun for something different, something people don't already have. And you could use it as a dry fire target.
Yeah. Gentlemen, what else is there to talk about?
I don't know. Do you have a topic for us, sir?
I do.
Oh, tell me more.
So I've been doing something a little different with my training. So
Tell me more.
you'll like this. So it's 2 drills a day with my live training because I've been shooting a lot the last month. But it's 1 drill with a rifle and 1 drill with a pistol.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's been interesting, especially when it's the same drill, because the different platforms emphasize different things, and I've been learning a lot doing this sort of training.
Give me an example on a drill or how it's been different, if you would.
For example, I did spot-to-spot movement with target transitions with a handgun the other day. So put some cones on the ground, like 4 targets stands out, just shooting the targets, moving to another position and shooting the targets, and just getting, rolling out of position, that kind of stuff, trying to just nail all of the visual cues, the cone that I look at that I'm going to move to and the spots on the targets. Then doing the same drill with a rifle was a lot different because you get really punished if your mount's not super consistent, which is harder to do. But once your mount's set, you can shoot a lot faster. So it's interesting because the different guns emphasize different things.
I like that.
So this has been useful for me.
Do you shoot all carbine or like all one gun, unload it, and then shoot the other gun, or do you bounce back and forth?
I don't usually bounce back and forth, but if I'm going to shoot like a combo, like I use one of the belts that has like rifle pouches in a holster.
Yeah.
Like I'll use those belts and I'll shoot combo. Then I'll probably just shoot one gun, depending on what I'm doing for the day.
I like that. How many rounds are you shooting on each drill? Like I'm sure it changes by the day.
It's between 1 and 300 per gun, and I never shoot that much with the rifle. I never shoot like 300. I usually don't shoot more than 200 with the rifle.
Yeah, I mean 5.56 ammo is expensive, obviously.
Yeah, this is not been cheap. This whole
right.
thing. Yeah. Yes, but learning quite a lot. So the rifle book, it's coming. It looks like the end of August. It's going to be the day.
I'm good with that. That sounds excellent.
Yes. Anything else to talk about, Mr. Kim? Do you have any, like, you shoot PCC, so what do you
Yes.
say?
Uh,
As far as
yeah.
the cross training.
Actually, the biggest difference is definitely the recoil is definitely different. Maybe my topic can be introducing one of the things that I've been recommending a lot of PCC shooters on PSTG. So one thing is, here's the thing. Tuxedo target is very, very common in our sport. And because it's a partial target, even though tuxedo is a full A zone, people kind of tend to slow their splits down because they're scared a little bit. So especially with PCC, splits maybe in pistol divisions tend to not matter as much, but in PCC it matters a lot. Especially like if you're running PCC that has like a fancy compensator or whatnot, and you're shooting not light loads and all that, then the recoil is very minimal. But I've been seeing a lot of pattern when people are shooting open target with PCC, going bah! And then when they're shooting zebra target, they somehow go pop pop, which is like 15 split compared to like 30 splits. When we see that, especially in like all the partial targets, if you're slowing down by 10th of a second or 15th of a second or something like that, that can add up at the end of the match. So one thing I recommended is there's a drill I posted on PSTG. It's called step back drill, which is you start on 5 yard. You shoot a pair, bam, bam, at a certain pace you determine, typically 0.2 second split, bam, bam. And then step back, another pair, step back, another pair. You go all the way to 15 yards, and then you kind of create the consistent group size. So if you're shooting regular doubles, like 8 shots at 5 yards, get like a, let's say, 2-inch group. Then at 15 yards, you're supposed to get 6-inch group by theoretical distance, 3 times more distance, 3 times more group size. But people tend to get like 10-inch group, which you should actually get 6-inch. Then you may be compromising in your shooting fundamentals, or suddenly 5 yards you shoot 0.2 splits, but 15 yards you shoot 0.3 splits. Now you're slowing things down. So like you force yourself to shoot the same shooting fundamentals, same visual cue. But with the PCC, how I recommend is, hey, set up 2 targets. One is open target, one is tux target. At 5 yards, first open target at the buzzer, shoot a pair as fast as you can pull the trigger. And then next pair, go on the tux. Same splits. Then step back, and then next buzzer, bother. So you're going back and forth from open target to tux target to ignore the black part of the target, because A zone is the same dimension for open target and tux target. So you go all the way back to where you start to shoot Charlie's or Mike, another tux target. Then okay, kind of mark, hey, up to 15 or up to 18 yards, I can shoot 15 splits, and then both open target, tux target, I can shoot all of us. Then
Mr. Kim, Mr. Kim,
yourself. Yeah.
Not to cut you off, but what's the fundamental problem here? Like not trusting your mount, or like what is it?
It comes down to 2. One is mental. People get scared of it because now there's some black parts of it. And then another thing is tension change, because some people, hey, on a 5 yard target, I'm gonna have a tight butt stock contact. I have good shooting fundamentals, recoil management. Because it's open target, I know I'm gonna shoot fast. Oh, that's a partial target. I'm gonna loosen up that butt stock pressure and recoil management be sloppy, but I'm gonna be like really relaxed, more relaxed. So people will kind of forget about good contact, front to back pressure on the rifle.
Yeah, I have the same problem, but I do the opposite. I over tense on the longer shooting. That's just me. Well, guys, anything else to talk about? You got a specific topic there, Mr. Josh?
Specific topic?
I don't know.
Don't drive 30 hours to a match and then plan on doing well.
Well, you didn't plan on doing well, did you?
Well, I hoped.
Josh did fine.
I did.
There were maybe one noticeable speed bump along the way. The rest of it was very fine. Josh could hit everything. He could navigate the stage competently. He wasn't used to shooting high cap magazines. He only had maybe one unplanned reload where he just like hit the button. Otherwise, it was fine. Like Josh did well.
It is certainly a different style of shooting than what we're used to.
Yeah.
In Canada, obviously, and even like internationally, I would say.
So what?
Yeah,
Like
just with how fast it is.
Well, just like how high of hit factors you can get.
Like what was the hit factor on the last stage, guys? That we ended on 10.
I think
Thir-
the highest was like a 13.5 hit factor.
And what's a high hit factor back home?
Like 5.
Yeah, yeah. So this is like double the high hit factor
Yeah.
you're used to. It's a way different, more dynamic, well, not necessarily more dynamic, but faster trigger pulling
and
type of shooting.
Like not being able to shoot high caps at home, like just the aggression that's needed to be at the top of like a high cap division is something that is so foreign. Like there's dudes that are just hammering rounds, and if you obviously production shooters deal with it, but like any other division that's dealing with low caps all the time, you don't have that aggression.
Yeah.
So
well, that's a good observation. Well, guys, this was a banger of a show. I have to tell you. Do appreciate you coming on, everybody. Listeners, if you well, thank me for having you. Yeah, of course. If you listeners, if you have a question you'd like the answer to, go to bensticker.com. Send me your questions. We'd love to hear from you.